welcome to another awesome episode of the
Rockin' House.
Today's special guests, we have Devin and Derek of Sin Circus. Devin and Derek Unger from the world-acclaimed dad, who's a rock star, as you guys know, Metal Church. These are his sons, and they're following their father's footsteps. Rock dude.
Yeah, we had the pleasure of having their father, Steve, on the show a few weeks back, and what a great thing that was. And now we're going to have their sons on, Sin Circus, and they're all out of Seattle area. And, yeah, they're the up-and-coming new, young, heavy metal band. Absolutely. They got great special effects on their videos. Check them out, too, on YouTube. Sin Circus. We're glad to have them, the sons of Steve Unger from Metal Church. And what do you think, Mark?
I said we bring on Devin and Derek right now. Welcome to the Rockin' House, guys. I'm here with my partner, Rock Dude, and welcome to another awesome episode of the Rockin' House. I got Derek and I got Devin Unger of famous bass player of Metal Church, their sons from Sin Circus today on the Rockin' House. Welcome, guys, to the Rockin' House today. How you doing, man?
How's it going? Good. Thank you for having us, man. Looking forward to this.
Awesome, man. Well, we were looking forward to it, too. We couldn't wait to the day, Cam, every time we have somebody on the show, and we're real happy to have you on. So let's talk about how you guys formed Sin Circus. How did you guys as brothers put that together?
Well, it started back in like 2008, about 12 years ago, something like that. Me and my brother just growing up on the oldies but the goodies, like Van Halen, the Motley Crue. Then a couple of new bands came out that we really looked up to. For me, it was a band like Shinedown. I really liked them.
Sure.
But we just saw those guys doing what they were doing, and we wanted to be like them, and we loved to play music just like they did, and we figured if they can do it, so can we. So, especially if we started as young as we did.
Right, growing up in the music industry too, because our dad's in the music industry, we got to meet and see a lot of things that a lot of people never got to do in their entire lives. We got to do it at a very young age, so we got to see how cool it was to be a part of that kind of community and that kind of action. And so we just kind of got addicted to it early on, and we got a couple other guys that were as dedicated as we were. It took a little digging, but we found them finally, and now we are doing what we're doing now. So it's been a pretty cool ride so far. Done a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool tours, a lot of cool places, things like that so far. And we've only got more going on. So
yeah,
and something that nobody really talks about much, but when you grow up like we did, you get to see how possible it is. And when you meet all these people that are doing it, and then you just see that there's regular people,
Yeah, absolutely. So, to my understanding, Derek, you play the bass and you're the lead vocalist for the band, right? And Devin, you do the guitars, sometimes lead guitar, and of course you put this band together and found the right guys because you guys are phenomenal, very tight. The chemistry's there. I even like the new edge heavy metal that you bring to the old school metal, but you don't go over the top, which is killer. And I really like it a lot, and I've let people hear you, and I turned them on to you, and they love you. So, things are working over here on the East Coast. They're loving you out here. What I'd like to talk about is the name. How did you guys come up with Sin Circus? That's a cool name.
Okay, so the name's pretty cool. We the first few years that we were a band, we had different members and stuff. We couldn't really think of a name that fit, because the name is one of those things that's like, once you come across the right one, you know that that's the right one, but it's hard to come across the right one because there's so many options, and you might think of a name that has already been patented or used by some other band on some other part of the country. Like, we're from the West Coast, so we had names that were being used on the East Coast by bands already, and we don't really want to have the same name as another band.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I do. I speak in my language, man. Doing this for 35 years, okay? Okay,
hell yeah, dude. So
Yeah, so you came up with the name Sin Circus, which is very cool. So there's no kind of specific reason how that name came up?
Not really. We it stuck at the time that we came up with it, and we've gotten so far with it and done so much with it, had so much videos and exposure with it.
Can't go back down.
It's just kind of the name now. You know what I mean? There's no changing. That would hurt us more than it would help us to ever change our name from that.
But I don't dislike our name or anything like that. I think as we grow older, it starts
Yeah.
seems to fit us more.
No, dude, the name's great, and you guys are promoting it. You're doing everything the right way to do the promotion, and it's definitely branded, no question. It's killer name. It works with the music. It's just, yeah, you guys got it. It's definitely something people are going to remember when they hear your music. Oh, that's Sin Circus. That's the kind of
They do
tour. That's
remember
what
that.
you
They
want.
do remember, yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
awesome
do
stuff,
remember, yeah.
guys. So, this is amazing. So, you guys started playing when you were young. You came up with the name. You're very happy with the name. It's working really well for you. What about the other members that you recruited into the band? I'm sure, like, we all have trials and tribulations to get the right guy in there, and it isn't always the first guy. Sometimes you get lucky, but I know being a musician doing this for 35 plus years, it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not, especially finding, you can find somebody that's like really wants to do it, but the skill level just isn't quite there yet.
Yep.
But it's usually the other way around. Usually the skill level is there, but they're not as dedicated, or there's some kind of underlying issue,
They
or
got kids,
they got kids, or they can't just get up and go touring. You know what I mean? So it's more than just finding somebody that sounds good. They got to look the part, they got to sound the part, and they have to be able to just get up and go. And we went through like probably 7 or 8 different members along the last 12 years before we finally found Chase and Alex, who's what we're doing now. The only reason we found them is because Chase happened to be up here. He's actually from Idaho. He happened to be in Washington, and he came and saw us play with our other lineup, and he hated our drummer, but he loved our band. He was like, these guys would be really good if their drummer didn't suck ass, right? So
you see how that works? See how things work? Fate works in weird, funny ways. I've seen it all my life, man. And that's amazing. Now, Chase, the guy you're talking about, your drummer, obviously, who you have now. What about the other guy that plays, the lead guitarist? He's phenomenal. He's got some pretty cool licks on his playing, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does. He's also from Idaho. He's also an Idaho boy, but we
played a few shows with his old band.
Yeah, that's how we met him. His old band was on some festivals and stuff that we were also playing, and so we kind of we got into mingling throughout those months of doing that kind of stuff. And then when we needed a guitar player, we called him and asked him, hey, I don't want to step on your band's toes or anything, but if you guys don't have much going on, we could really use somebody. We had a tour in Texas coming up. It was a big tour, actually out with Metal Church and Armored Saint.
Nice.
We had a lot of big stuff going. We needed somebody, and we needed somebody quick. And so he really liked our band from the beginning when he first met us. And so he came up and did the audition, and he nailed it, man.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, guys. Let's talk a little bit about, who your influences are. Everybody's got influences of who they like. Now, Derek, you kind of told us some of yours. But what about some of your influences on the instrument, the bass you play, and your instrument, you play guitar? Let's start with you, Derek.
As a bass player, I definitely look up to Nikki Sixx. I know I said I love crew, but I do look up to Nikki Sixx. Not only because I think, I liked his groove, especially later on as he became a better bass player in the later crew era or in 6 a.m. Got some really cool bass stuff there. But I mostly look up to him as a songwriter because I'm a songwriter myself. So I really like the way he put songs together. He's also a bass player. So
he was a great songwriter.
All right.
I know that some of my biggest influences, you're going to hear a lot of the same bands in our influences because we did grow up in the same household with the same dad. He got into more he expanded a lot more the other way than I did. I was always in the Crew and the Scorpions and Van Halen and Rat and Skid Row and all those bands like that. Those are the bands that taught me how to play guitar. Whitesnake and Red Beach from Winger and stuff. But as I got older, I got really into Avenged Sevenfold, big time Avenged Sevenfold fan. I'm actually wearing one of their shirts right now. Some of the bigger bands that even he was saying Shinedown and stuff like that, 6 a.m. Some of those bigger bands, we kind of had the same influences.
Very awesome. All right, guys, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break right here in just a minute and come back with the boys from Sin Circus and talk about their videos that they put out there, and there's also a new one coming up in just a moment. wow, what a cool segment. We talked about how the band started, the name, we talked about some influences and things like that, and of course how you guys put the band together. Now let's talk about moving more into the future here, and then we got this killer video that I've got to see, and you guys are getting some numbers on Sign Your Name. Awesome stuff. Let's talk about that, and I realize you got another video, either you're working on number 4 your dad was telling me about, Steve, or it's already out. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So you want to start with Sign Your Name?
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, Sign Your Name. That's the last video we've done. We released 3 videos, and that was the third one of the 3 videos that we released. And that one just blew up like way more than the other videos for some reason.
Yeah.
It's the longest song too, which we were always like, oh, you know, we need to make sure it's like short and sweet because people, you know, they lose attention really easily or whatever. But like for some reason, this song, we're hearing from the people in Egypt. That personally message us and say, man, this stuff is amazing. Mexico loves it. France, India,
Amazing,
Japan.
All over the world.
That's
They love
amazing
it in
stuff.
Japan. so-
Russia too. Russia really seems to like it.
Russia seems to like it, so it's been a pretty good good first song for people to see us. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily technically the first song I put out, but it's the first one that has gotten the kind of attention that you know it takes to really get to know a band or whatever. But that was a fun song. Like Derek actually wrote that song. You want to tell him about the writing?
Yeah, you know, at the time when I was writing that song, I was really listening to a lot of like swing jazz and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, swing jazz, and mostly because I was playing this game Fallout 4. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but they had a lot of swing jazz music in it.
Okay.
And I was like, I think it would be sick if somebody wrote a rock song that it also had like a swing jazz feel and maybe put a cool storyline behind it.
Yeah.
And that's how that like walking bass line came into play and everything, and that jazz section. Basically, the storyline is just about a magician that sells his soul to use real magic, so he's not doing tricks anymore. It's all real magic.
Okay.
And yeah, it's
The
pretty
video's
wild. But
phenomenal.
the video went more the route of a band, you know. But yeah, the original idea was that it was a magician who was no longer pretending to saw someone in half on stage, like he was actually doing it and then putting them back together.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And,
Yeah.
and you know, that's amazing that you mentioned that you got this influence off of jazz musicians. That's impressive right there as young guys, because you know everybody sometimes they stick with metal and that's it. And that's all they know, or they know different phases of it. But you guys are very versatile. And that's the name in this game, in this business. Yeah.
My favorite part of the song is that it's like it shows that we really just do whatever we want to do in our songs.
Yes.
We don't really try to stick with like one specific thing. Like we do whatever sounds cool, even if it goes way in left field. If it fits and it sounds cool, why not do it? It's music. There's no laws against what you can write and can't write in a song. You know what I mean? So why not do it? It doesn't need to always be super commercial. It can just fit. Just go with the flow of the song, you know. I think that a lot of bands that don't do that, they should, because there's a lot of songs that a lot of bands could have done so much more with if they had just not tried to stick to something, you know.
Yeah, the formula, so to speak. But the way we see it, if we write a song, it's gonna sound like us, so it doesn't matter.
Whether it's jazz, whether it's soft rock, a ballad, a metal song, it doesn't matter. So we kind of put all of them together in that one song. So it's a really good song for people to first see us, I guess, off of, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more good songs. Your dad sent me 3 songs, and I'm a God. That's a killer song. I like that tune.
That's one of my favorite ones to play live.
Oh yeah, that song gets the crowd so pumped.
Yeah.
Dude, the video is insane. It's like it reminds you of a band back in the day called Aha, where they did this whole cartoon thing, and I kind of see where you guys came up with an idea to do that in metal, and I love it. I have to say.
Yeah, we did that video ourselves. We shot it and we edited it. We did everything ourselves on all those videos, and that was like kind of our guitar player Alex actually is really good with editing and software programs and stuff like that, and he edited that to kind of have that Aha feel. And so it's funny that you say that, because he actually was thinking kind of that, like along those lines when he first made that video and he made those edits and stuff like that.
There's actually an Easter egg in the video.
Yeah,
where one of the pictures on the wall is actually a screenshot from the Aha video.
Yeah, just in the background. Nobody
I picked
knows.
it right off, didn't I? Pretty good at
Nobody knows
that.
it's there, but if you see it, you'll know it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, now when I watch the video, I'm going to look for that.
Yeah, you'll see it. It's in the back. It's in the background.
Oh, man, well, I'll tell you, he's a hell of a video guy because he does some really mad skill effects. I really love what he does. And it's
He
really
did,
working well for you guys. Let's move a little bit forward now into this new video you guys are working on, video number 4.
Yeah, number 4. So it's gonna be a song called "This Ain't Forever," and it's actually one that I sing. So I
Really?
do play lead guitar and rhythm guitar, but we switch vocals. Some songs I actually am the lead singer for the song,
Very
and
awesome.
so this is actually a song that is I'm the lead singer on this song, and
Right.
this was a song that came together pretty fast in the studio when we were recording the song. But it's one of our favorite. At least I know it's Chase's and Alex's favorite. One of their favorite songs. One of mine too.
Sure.
I don't know about Derek, but
He wrote this song, so I hate it.
yeah. but dude, so the
All
video's
good.
gonna be badass, man. It's not ready to go yet. It's not ready to be
Okay.
released quite yet, but we are getting started on the filming here very shortly. We have it scripted out, and we have the idea all written out and whatnot.
Nice.
And it's gonna be kind of a lot like the Sign Your Name, as far as like kind of having like a lot of crazy story stuff along with it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's its own thing. So I'm excited for you guys to see it. When we release it, we'll let you guys know so you can take a look at it. If you
Oh,
want.
hell yeah. We'll promote it for you guys. That'd be awesome. We're definitely looking forward to that. And like I said, he's an amazing video effects guy. He does amazing stuff. I really like what he does.
You know, that
You know,
If you know anybody needs a video done, or anybody watching needs a video done, hit up Orpheus Black Studios. That's
Okay.
that's his studio. So I'm
Alright.
sure he'd be happy to work with you.
awesome. That'd be amazing, man. And I just may wind up doing that because I liked what he does for you guys. But I'll tell you what, man. That's great that, you know, these guys got a new video working on number 4, guys out there. So be ready for it. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out Sin Circus and their videos, you need to go on YouTube and watch them because they're amazing. For what's being done, it's just unbelievable stuff. All right, man, we're going to come back with these guys again from Sin Circus in just a minute.
Until you've had a taste of the frozen iron and melted cold, the fear is amazing. Same old story goes like this. I've got this feeling that I could take the weight of the world on my chest. I won't be the victim, at least I get to stay here. Standing in the shadows, I'm a god. I won't be the victim. I'm constantly get me up and take me higher. I don't think I realize that there is always a price as I rise up to there. Get me up and take me higher. Yeah, this is only a night, but you can bet on your life that tonight I won't play.
Derek Unger and Devin Unger. Man, what an awesome show so far what we've been talking about today, man. And I think what I want to
it's
do
fun.
is go into something that I think people are really going to want to hear about. And that's, you know, you guys are sons and following the footsteps of your rock star dad, who is in a major heavy metal band that came out of Seattle, Metal Church. How does it
Yep.
feel to be under, you know, his influence as a musician in a band as big as Metal Church? And how that's, you know, affected you guys doing what you do in your band?
Well, I think oftentimes we forget what it's like because for us it's never been any different, you know. So for
Okay.
us it just feels normal and it doesn't feel like it's a big deal. But
Okay.
I can understand. Like sometimes I just come to realize that I have a lot of support that a lot of other people don't get, and my dad's got connections that a lot of other people who who, they want to do the same thing that we're doing, they don't have, because, their dad doesn't play in a band like Metal Church. So sometimes it's humbling to remember those kinds of things, and remember that we have a head start, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, not only has his career done really good for him, and he's been our dad and everything throughout the whole thing. But the cool thing about it is that when Derek's talking about support, I don't mean just in the music business. I mean, if I wanted to go be a football star, he would have bought me a football uniform to go do something like that. He would have supported me anything. If I wanted to go be a banker, he would have done whatever he could to support that dream to go be a banker.
Wow.
So he's a really great dad, and he raised a couple really good kids, and we're really thankful for a lot of the stuff he's done. He helped us out a lot. He kind of showed us the ropes a little bit on how to play shows, like how to get off the stage on time, get on the stage on time. Like a lot of bands, they take forever to tear their shit down, and it's like now the band's late, now the just pissed off because the band's late. My dad was really good. Just like, hey, you know what? You need to be on and you need to be off, and period. And then that's it. You know what I mean?
It was never any confusion about what it means to be a professional band.
No.
A lot of people have to, they spend years just learning how to be a professional band in the first place, and there was never that issue for us.
We got to see all the work that actually goes into making that happen, whereas a lot of people that they start a band, a lot of them don't quite realize what they're getting themselves into as far as the amount of work that goes into doing it successfully and properly, and not just being some band on the weekends or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it. We were always eye open to what it took to do what my dad does, because we watched it as we were growing up, and it came with a lot of perks too. We got to meet a lot of cool people. I mean, I was able to meet Paul Stanley when I was 5 years old. We got to play a show in front of Vince Neil from Motley Crue. Nice. There's a lot of, met the drummer for Journey. I mean, got to meet a lot of really cool people, and kind of get in the way to how to talk to different people in the industry, to not be awkward, or to not be nervous, to go up and just talk. If you see somebody that you recognize, just go up and talk to them. They're just another person.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's not like, you don't need to be like, oh man, should I go talk to him? Because that conversation might lead to something bigger. Yeah. You just don't know.
You're speaking my language, guys. That's why we're here right now.
Yeah, absolutely right. So growing up and seeing all that, it made it easier for us to get in the flow of things for Sin Circus, because we saw it happen with our dad already, and he's just our dad to us, but to other people, he's the bass player for Metal Church, and so we got to see how, like Derek said, it's humbling to see how lucky we are to have somebody like that in our lives.
Absolutely, guys. That's well put. Well put, and I'm sure your dad's very proud of you guys, because you're hell of musicians. I love your attitudes. And what you just said, you couldn't have said it better. But I'd like to talk about right now with you guys, what would you say was some of your most memorable shows you've gotten to play? Even if it was with Metal Church and other bands, and that opportunity presented itself to you.
So I remember there's one tour that we could be here all day telling crazy stories about some of these shit, right? All right, but some of my favorite ones were definitely when we were touring Texas. They were with Metal Church and Armored Saints. They were with those two bands.
Awesome.
But we played the Whiskey Go-Go, a sold-out show at the Whiskey Go-Go, first time we ever played there in LA, which was like a really big deal for us. You know what I mean? That's a huge thing, dude. I mean, the Whiskey Go-Go. I mean, we got to play, and it was like packed, and so it was probably one of my most favorite shows just for the history of that place,
Yes.
And the fact that we got to do in front of a sold-out crowd. I mean, we didn't sell it out, but it didn't matter. We got to play in front of them, you know what I mean? And that's how you get bigger. That's how you get bigger. You go out with somebody that's bigger than you, and you expose yourself to their crowd.
That's exactly right.
We got to do a lot of tours like that. I know that one of my favorite shows would be Las Vegas. We played this huge place called the Brooklyn Bowl, and our area that we had to hang out with looked like a porn shoot should be there. It was just like on the balcony, just like overlooking like the city of Vegas, through couches and fire all over the fucking you know what I mean?
Rock star life.
I know one of my personal favorite ones was it wasn't actually with Metal Church, but it was with somebody that I, as a guitar player, idolized, and he actually hit us up to open for his band at Studio 7 in Seattle. His name is Jackie Vincent. He used to play in a band called Falling in Reverse, and anyway, he was like, he is one of my favorite guitar players of all time.
He's crazy.
And he was on tour with a new band, and he was looking for a local band to open up for the show, and they came across our Facebook page and saw how many people were going to our shows and like were paying attention to like our posts and things like that. So we actually emailed my dad personally. He was like, "Hey, was wondering if Sid Circus wanted to play a show with us, open up for us at CO7. We need a local band quick." But it was Jackie Vincent, so to me it was like one of my favorite moments to like play, share the stage with my most favorite guitar players ever. You know, you may not know who he is, but he was one of my favorite guitar players of all time. You know.
I got you. All right, Derek, what about you? Do you agree with your brother on these shows, or are there different shows that maybe you thought were most influential for you and loved playing and got on the stage and said, "I can't believe I'm here"?
Yeah, there's like he said, there's been a lot of them, so it's hard to narrow it down to just a few. But
Of course.
I would say the whiskey show, the Sold Out Whiskey show was amazing to me, and this was years ago. But we played Vince Neil's after show party after Motley Crue played the Tacoma Dome. Yeah, the Tacoma Dome, and yeah, we got to play in front of Vince Neil. He's right out there. He's like, yeah, like just rocking out to us. So it was like weird because we had at that point we'd been to like 6 or 7 Motley Crue shows, and it was always us looking at him going, yeah. But then this time it was like it was the other way around, and it was pretty cool, man.
He
called us back to the backstage area.
Nice.
And we were in this little roped off section. And he was like, "Man, you guys kick ass, dude. You guys remind me of me when I was your age, but like better."
just like hugging us and stuff. Like he totally dug. That was probably I forgot about that one. That's one of my favorite moments of all time too.
Wow.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of things like that. So there's
been a lot of stuff like that. You know, one show I can speak for Chase here, but I remember one show we played. It was in Texas again, and Vinnie Paul was actually there. It was just before he passed away, and so Chase and Vinnie Paul really liked us, and we got to go and talk to Vinnie Paul a little bit. He had us come back here and bullshit with us for a little bit. And so for Chase, especially, that was like a dream come true because Vinnie Paul, one of his favorite drummers of all time, and he got to get the picture with him before he passed away. You know, so it was like a real epic moment for him.
Really,
you know?
man.
yeah, he passed away like just a month or two later.
Yeah.
So Chase was like, especially he was like, wow, I'm really glad I got the chance to actually meet that guy.
Yeah. Now, we've been talking about Chase a lot, but let's talk about your other lead guitar player. Let's bring him in a little bit and talk about that. I think that's a fair thing to say. And see what his deal is. Like, who are his favorite influences on the guitar? Do you pretty much can speak since he's not here to talk about that?
Kind of. He's got a weird taste in music, honestly. He really liked a lot of like the 80s Wham, like kind of like bands like Oingo Boingo, like he's like Oingo Boingo.
That's funny, man.
Right?
Yeah.
He likes, but then he also like I know Mudvayne is one of his favorite bands of all time.
Nice.
Of course, like all guitar players, I can speak for him as far as individual guitar players they looked up to. He looked up to Steve Vai, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eddie Van Halen, and guys like that. You know what I mean? So he, as far as guitar players go, I can, but he likes. His taste is weird, man. It was like, I don't understand it sometimes. I'm like, hey, Alex, like, how do you like this but not like this? Or like, how can you like this but not like this? Like,
well,
you know, it's confusing.
Of course, of course. Well, that's amazing, guys. And the last thing I want to discuss here on our show today, and again, we really appreciate you guys coming on the show, and I want to thank your dad, Steve Unger, for allowing us to be able to speak with you guys today. It's really awesome. How is your future looking with Sin Circus with this pandemic? I mean, I know I get a different version for everybody I ask this. It's amazing how I get different versions of it.
Well, I can tell you that we have a lot going on with some people that can do a lot of stuff for us, and that kind of got put on hold right now because of this. Because a lot of the business that we have that we're still gonna go do is down in LA, and LA is worse than a lot of the other states right now as far as that's concerned. So some of the logistical side of what we got going on behind closed doors is a little bit on hold. But I know that we were on a competition to go do Rockin Fest, and we were about ready to win until Europe closed Rockin Fest, so we were able to go do that. Hopefully that'll just get postponed, but it's kind of an indefinite thing because nobody really knows how long this bullshit is going to last for. So it's kind of hard to book tours when people can't even gather in venues, and you're just going broke. You know what I mean? You can't survive that way. You have to be able to get a lot of people there, and a lot of places are still like really locked down. So as far as like tour dates and shows and stuff like that, yeah, we did Sturgis. They didn't care. It was awesome. Sturgis is a great show, and there's some shows here and there, but they're pretty far and few at the moment. So we're just kind of focusing on our online presence more than anything right now, making sure that you know, the video is getting put together properly. That you know, we have the right avenues to sell it to people on or show it to people on, so that way we can get through this. We'll get through it though eventually. You know what I mean?
And there was a music scene before the Spanish flu, and there was a music scene after the Spanish flu. So we're gonna fucking get through it.
So all we can do is just prepare ourselves for when it does end, and you know, I mean, well, I'm thinking we come out with a whole new show, a whole new set, a whole new sound and everything when this whole thing does end finally. Hopefully it'll end sooner than later. But for right now, it's just like I said, it's more of the online stuff. People don't realize how important the online presence is in today's industry. I mean, I'm sure you do, but a lot of my friends and stuff that are in bands, they don't realize like the importance of a good online presence. I mean, it's almost more important than a good live show these days. It seems like, you know, which sucks to say, but
it's the truth. You're right about that. It's all about the likes and the views. That's what I've been hearing from the industry standard. It's like, really?
Yeah.
What happened to concerts?
That's what I say. Yeah, we agree. I mean, we think the same way, but like you said, we gotta play the game, dude. I mean, if we want to keep this ball rolling, how it's been rolling, and keep the momentum up, we gotta be strong on all fronts. And one of those major fronts, unfortunately, is Facebook, YouTube, online, Spotify, Reverb Nation, all those places. You know, those kinds of things.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank both Derek and Devin for coming to the Rockin' House and talking today. It was awesome having you guys on here. We talked about a lot of stuff in a very short bit of time, but you know what? It was awesome, and what you guys had to say is going to probably influence other people, hopefully, that are doing the same thing you're doing, that, yo, you can do it, we can do it, we all can do it. So we all stay doing it. We don't let the pandemic stop you. I'm Marky Z with Rock Dude. I'm out.
Slip into a dream, dream until your feet won't